Hello you guys! So it is dark and gloomy, so I thought this is the perfect time to sit down with a book and cozy up. And did one fanart just convince me to read this book? Yes, because look at these. Look at these. Oh my god. The book is The Phoenix King. It is a South Asian fantasy inspired by Indian mythology. So already sounds so amazing. This is the first book in the trilogy. While I'm filming this, it is the end of October and the second book is coming out in early November. So perfect timing. And also since 2025 is coming to a close, I wanted to talk about some of my most anticipated books for 2026 in this video. So stay tuned for that. And without further ado, let's make some tea and let's get straight into it. I have only read the prologue so far, but I can already tell this is going to be a great book. Kind of reminding me of The Kiss of Deception. I read it around a year ago actually, and I loved the political intrigue in it, and this has reminded me of that same kind of politicalness at the beginning of that book. There's going to be a princess, and there's an assassin, there's a king to be killed. I don't know, it's definitely giving that same vibe, but I think this is going to be more intense. This is already kind of a little bit gory, which I really like in a fantasy book, so I can't wait for the rest. I'm loving the Asian mythology and Asian setting of this. You can really tell how vivid this world is, and I love all the Asian elements of it. It really brings it all together. It makes it so much easier to imagine. Honestly, I've never really read any Indian inspired fantasy, so this has been an amazing experience. I'm really liking the story and I love the main character, the princess. I feel like in fantasy recently we see this kind of trend of making the princesses or even the princes not want to be royalty, and they're shedding their responsibilities and want to become what they want to be, which is fair enough, I guess, but it has gotten to the point that it's been done so much that it's very predictable. And the thing about Elena in our book here is that she doesn't cower from her responsibilities. She loves her kingdom and she cares about all its residents, and she just wants all that is the best for them. She wants to protect her people however she can, even if that means that she has to marry for duty rather than love. She has accepted this and she's so powerful. She's such a badass. She knows how to fight, of course, yes. You can just tell in her dialogue how much she cares for the kingdom and also how powerful she is, how she just doesn't give two shits about people giving her shit. And I love that. In this book, there is a looming war. There's a lot of kingdoms. This is a very politically heavy book, I would say. This is definitely not just like a, I don't know, cozy romantasy. This is definitely a political romantasy. I don't even know if there's gonna be a lot of romance because I've not really had much inkling of that. In the first chapter, we find out what the last mission of the ex-assassin was and how he kind of got himself into trouble and how he ended his assassin career. He just wants his freedom and he wants to return home, which is actually where the princess lives, and he has lived in a different kingdom all his life basically. There's also a prophecy that hangs in the air. We don't really know many specifics yet. It's just said that the prophet is going to have great power, and that means being able to wield fire as he wishes, or she. We don't know who the prophet is yet. I am really liking all the characters too, even the king. I think that is very intriguing because we don't normally get that. We usually focus on the younger people, so the princess, then the assassin, and I'm really liking that addition because it shows us a different perspective, which I think adds to the mystery and kind of completes our view of the world. So like I said, we are nearing the new year 2026 and I have already seen some of the book releases that I am excited for the upcoming year. First up is Half His Age, which is an upcoming fiction by Jeanette McCarthy. I actually read I'm Glad My Mom Died around 2 years ago and I completely fell in love, and it was a stunning read and I enjoyed the writing style a lot. This will definitely not be a book for everyone, considering it is about a 17-year-old girl exploring her feelings for her teacher that is definitely much older than her. But it will be looking at themes of power, obsession, loneliness, and desire. This will be releasing on the 20th of January. This will probably be the first book that is releasing that year that I really want to read. To see Jeanette pursue her new passion is really inspiring, and I'm very excited to see what she'll produce. A month later, on the 24th of February, we have The Legend of the Nine-Tailed Fox. This is an Asian fantasy written by the same author that wrote The Last Dragon of the East, which is a book that I read quite recently in my 24-hour reading video. I really liked the plot and the high stakes, and I love the mythology aspects, and I really want to explore this new to me myth of the nine-tailed fox. And this book will also include a romance element to it between the nine-tailed fox and its hunter. So I have been obsessed with vampires, horror, and gothic stories lately, so when I heard about The Brides, I knew I had to add it to my list. This book is about the brides of Dracula told through letters, diary entries, and psychiatric reports, which sounds so unique and entertaining. This will be releasing on the 26th of March, and I think this will be a debut novel for the author. Keeping in the horror realm, I of course had to add Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, who wrote What Moves the Dead. Releasing on the 24th of March, this will be a dreary and dark read about a scientific illustrator coming to a manor to illustrate a vast collection of insects, yet she soon will discover that there's more to this house that she originally thought about. So I will of course have to read What Moves the Dead before I read this, because I haven't read it still, but this definitely sounds really good. Honor and Heresy is a bit of a left wing from her, because I added it originally because I saw some interesting TikToks and it really intrigued me. This will be a gothic, queer, dark academia book about two scholars competing with each other to find answers of an invasion of a haunted library. So, right. This is releasing on the 21st of April and it looks really promising. Next is Death's Daughter, releasing on the 5th of May. This is supposed to be a dark romantic fantasy, and since I haven't had a good dark romance in a while, I'm really excited for this one. This is going to be about the daughter of Death, of course, and her refusal to go into the family business, but her need to feed on humans to survive. Lastly, we of course have Release Me, which is the second book of Shatter Me, The New Republic. While I didn't love the first book, I still want to know what will happen in the later series, and this next one, I do really hope that it's going to be surprising and something new. And obviously we have returning characters, which I am really excited for because I love Shatter Me. This is like one of my favorite series since I've been growing up. You know, it's just nostalgic to me, really nostalgic. This releases on the 7th of April. This is just a rough list for this year because I know that I will definitely come across some books that I want to read throughout the year, so I don't want to have a constricting list of books I want to read, and that is why this is not too extensive. But let's get back to reading The Phoenix King. I am more than halfway through now, and guys, I am loving it. I can't wait for the end. I know there will have to be a twist soon because, whoa! Also, the yearning in this book. The Phoenix King is first and foremost a story about war and tragedy and madness. We follow 3 main characters, we have 3 different POVs, and I feel like every one of them is a little bit morally grey. They all have their own regrets and they all have some terrible pasts to them that they have to either get over or get driven by their issues. Is it in the good direction or is it in the bad direction? You just have to see for yourself. I feel like every character has to make some brutal decisions and it's not as easy as it looks and it's not as straightforward as it looks. I really enjoyed how plot heavy this book was, even though it was a little bit slower paced. I feel like this is a great foundation for a series because we did have to establish a lot of the world building. This is a fantasy, but it does have some science fiction elements, which I didn't really realize before starting this book, and I didn't realize that this book had a glossary at the end. So yes, while reading it, I was confused, but that was my own fault because why did I not look at the glossary at the back? Even though I was confused, I was able to gather from the context clues what was happening. I don't think it was confusing to the point that you wouldn't understand what is going on. This book is marketed as Dune and the Poppy War kind of realm, and this does have terrorism, genocide, brutality. It has vengeful gods, and this has a lot of politics. But in my eyes, this is more of a combination of The Kiss of Deception and maybe Dune or the Poppy War, though the Poppy War guys, no, that is strictly just war. There is nothing else happening except for war in the Poppy War, which makes sense. And I enjoyed how this was more of a, I think, exploration of the gods, of fate and religion and spirituality, and also all the other people's backgrounds. I feel like it's much different from the Poppy War, but at the same time, kind of similar. In the next books, we are going to see much more war. And I am a little bit scared, but I think the fighting sequences are done really, really well. This was inspired by the geographic and political tensions in India, so it does make sense that it's a little bit heavy, but I did enjoy how we also got some lighter moments as the romance, and I did really enjoy each character's own journey of discovering themselves, especially Elena. I really love her. She is such a badass and she is also very soft at heart. But there is also other people in these books that I feel like are going to surprise me in the next books. I'm looking forward to starting the next book really soon. I will be recording that in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!